happened. The rumors have finally come out. It's a transfer saga, or a transfer that I could see a mile away. It's a transfer that I have been spewing for months now, as one Mikhail Mudryk could really, really do with a move away from Chelsea. Not necessarily on a permanent basis, but certainly a loan move, I think, would be of massive benefit to the Ukrainian after what has been, let's be honest, a fairly lackluster time at Chelsea so far. It certainly hasn't gone exactly how Chelsea would have liked. It hasn't gone how Mudryk himself would have liked. And there are teams, one team in particular as of right now, that has offered a lifeline, so to speak, to Mikhail Mudryk in order to revitalise his Chelsea career, or his just career in general. Before we begin, please do like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, 10 o'clock! Yes, it's true, or it might be true. Who knows? Who knows these days with rumours? But then again, 15th of November at the time of recording, the January transfer window is fast approaching, and with... Listen, first team positions hard enough to get for the likes of Christopher Nkunku, our top goal scorer. Joao Felix, the list goes on. Mikhail Mudryk is no different. He himself has struggled to break into the first team. He's had chances here and there last season, and some at points early in the season, this season, not really though, at the same time. But it's proving to be harder than ever for Mudryk himself. Not necessarily Nkunku and Joao Felix, but for Mudryk, he's got the likes of, Joao Felix. He's got the likes of Nkunku to try and pip to a spot, not necessarily their spot, but a spot. You've got Mudryk, you've got Pedro Neto, you've got Jadon Sancho. The list goes on in those wide positions that, listen, Mudryk, he's been on a decent run of form as of late, but I don't think it's been enough. I don't think it will ever be enough this season. It really, really is time for Mikhail Mudryk to explore his options. And with that, as I said, the January transfer window is quick and fast approaching. And one team in particular has shown an interest. They themselves have, of course, had their issues in the beginning of this season. If I get the table up right now, it is night and day. I believe they themselves have struggled between, so if we look at the 23-24, we've played 11 games. Is that correct? Am I right in saying so? 11 games. So Crystal Palace, the team in question here, are currently in 18th place with 7 points. They've scored only 8 goals and have conceded 15 with a -7 goal difference. This time last season, Crystal Palace, well, they were level on points with Chelsea in 11th place to our 10th place with -3 goal difference. And it is night and day. So they themselves are looking for an attacking option. Now that, Elise's gone, Zaha long gone, but, those types of players, they are struggling for a final product. They managed to score, what was it at this point? 10 goals. So only 2 goals difference between this time last year and now. But the point remains, they were in a much, much better position than they were, they were in a much better position then than they are now. Obviously, Elise, a massive, massive hole in the side. Listen, it's obviously a move that Chelsea would prefer. Listen, again, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, we've seen multiple players. Gurhi's gone there. Loftus-Cheek went there. You know, Trevor Chalobah's currently there. Conor Gallagher's gone there. Michy Batshuayi's gone there. Chelsea and Crystal Palace with signings and loan spells. It is what it is. It works mostly in our favour, it's got to be said. But at the same time, it is a partnership that is more so unspoken, but it's there. There's clearly some sort of, you know, negotiations in place. I wouldn't say there's no negotiations in place that are like they have a partnership. It's not like Strasbourg and Chelsea. But at the same time, I think that there is at this point an understanding that, hey, if you have any players that you might want to put on loan, we're here. We're available. In this instance, Crystal Palace are the ones that have approached Chelsea with interest in signing an out of favour Micah Mudryk on loan. Whether or not that would include an option to buy or an obligation to buy remains another question, because let's be honest, he wasn't cheap. There's speculation all over the place as to exactly how much he was, and he wasn't that expensive, but then he was that expensive. 70 million euros is the amount that's, you know, been thrown around over the years, but it is, for me, it is time. It's been time. I genuinely think that there was potential for him to, like, a last gasp effort to really hone in on that potential position. But then you buy or obligation to buy, but you recruit Jadon Sancho, you recruit Pedro Neto. Just those two new signings alone, Micah Mudryk, doesn't matter how much he costs, it was never ever going to be first team football for him. Obviously, Mudryk has played really well so far this season as well. And so he always beats Mudryk to the spot. Again, Crystal Palace could do with him. Elise gone means a space open. I don't think that the players that they've got at the moment as their replacement for Elise are doing very well. And the table says everything. They're currently in 18th place. It's obviously very tight at the bottom. They are just 2 points or 3 points off of 15th. So they've got a chance, of course. I think over the years recently that them being considered a relegation possibility. I think last season towards the end was a little bit shaky, but over the years they have been a solidified Premier League side. So the recruiting of a player of Mudryk's standard, and let's be honest, he has good qualities, maybe not shown in abundance for Chelsea Football Club, but for a team like Crystal Palace, and I don't mean that as a swipe, but I'm just saying history would tell you Loftus-Cheek, you got the best out of him many a time. Gallagher, player of the year. Players that go to Chelsea, go from Chelsea to Crystal Palace, they do well. So why not Mudryk on loan to Crystal Palace? I think from our perspective, we have plenty of depth. We have not yet relied on Mudryk to step up, because of the players that we have. I don't think it's going to be a problem for either side. I really, and in the past, on the watch-alongs or whenever I've been speaking about Mudryk, I've said a loan move needs to happen, not a sale, but a loan. And of course, the team that I have always mentioned is Crystal Palace. And lo and behold, here they are. Crystal Palace showing an interest in Micah Mudryk. Whether or not it happens in the end, it remains to be seen. But I would personally say it's hopeful from both sides of the situation. With that said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would imagine that this would be a positive for both sides from a fan's perspective. Chelsea fans, he grinds our gears, but we want him to do well. So again, a low move to Crystal Palace would be great. Crystal Palace fans, if you're watching, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you take Mudryk? Do you think he would do well? Let me know in the comments down below. With that said, please do like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. My name is Harry, up the Chelsea. Another video in the bag, and peace.